All right, hello and welcome. I am the DJC, aka the Don Juan Carlos, and I'm here with my great, amazing friend Austin, aka Sleepless, and we are starting what would be known as the Side Decked Out podcast. Working title. Working
Working
title.
title. Honestly, I was thinking about it. We have options like Rush Hour, YGO. I thought that would be a good one.
Ah,
I could
yes.
be Chris Tucker. You could be Jackie Chan.
Oh man, I would love that. That'd be amazing.
I know you would love to be Jackie Chan one day.
I definitely would. I definitely would. So, yes, we're currently starting a Yu-Gi-Oh podcast in the time of Yu-Gi-Oh where man everything's volatile.
Everything is insane. This is chaos.
So we thought because we've talked about this for a while, why not just why not just start one? Because I'll be honest with you, I sit and talk to Austin about Yu-Gi-Oh for I don't know, maybe like 2-3 hours
Yeah, and
a day.
it it's always something that discussion that leads to something like, man, why don't we just tell other people about this?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like where it truthfully where it spurred my first idea of this. I was shoveling snow in the garage and I was like, man, I would like to talk to Austin about some of my choices and why I build the decks that way I do, the way that I do. So here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. To start, just to get just a general gist of this pod. I still don't know what day this is gonna go up or what exactly the schedule is gonna be, but we just decided might as well start and we can
Yeah,
figure all that stuff later. And then as we keep going, because what are we
right.
probably gonna do it like once a week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once a
Hopefully.
week we'll get on here and just talk away at the new and crazy adventures that is Yu-Gi-Oh.
That is Yu-Gi-Oh! Indeed.
So, one thing's for sure that you'll probably notice the things that we're gonna go over for today is one is gonna be a short discussion about Master Duel. The update just came out literally last week on the 4th, so there'll be talk about that. Um, there's also going to be talk about the upcoming reprints and the new leaks for stuff that's coming out this year. And for the most important thing that'll probably take most of the time for this first episode
It's my
is going to
favorite one.
be the Albaz structure deck that is coming out.
Albaz Strike.
Yeah,
Mwah.
one of one of probably the craziest structure decks that we've had in forever.
Yeah, no, literally.
So we're just gonna jump right into it. So let's start off with some Master Duel shenanigans.
Master Duel shenanigans, yes.
Master Duel shenanigans. So I'll pose this question to you, Mr. Austin. How are you feeling about Master Duel?
How I'm feeling? Uh, well, it's hard to say. It's kind of like an on again, off again girlfriend or boyfriend. You just keep going back to it from time to time, you know?
Mm.
Uh, when I am playing it, I'm having a time, but whew, there are some decks that are just not great, that are not healthy for the game. I believe the Eater of Millions deck that gives you just the one turn OTK. People are actually like using bots with this deck to basically filter out if they don't go first, they leave. If the person they're up against has like 13 or less cards, they leave because that's how the OTK works with dumping into the graveyard and dropping down to 13 cards just makes them barely miss the OTK. Uh, so it's literally a disgusting deck. I'm sure if you haven't seen it, you can find it on YouTube in just like 5 seconds. With it's the banished deck Eater of Millions, and it makes the game not fun to play. So we need a ban list.
Yeah, Brandless update his would be nice.
It
Uh,
it missed.
it miss. I think I just found it on just looking it up now.
Yeah, Eater of Millions is literally stupid. The guy Samurai, I watch a lot on YouTube. He just did a video on it. Uh, it's dumb. It's dumb. I hate it. I hate it. We need a ban list. We need a ban list, please.
Yeah. So for me, thank you for what your experience has been for Master Duel so far.
Ah, uh,
Um, it's kind of hard for me to jump in because first off, first deck that I made in Master Duel was, I think it was the Dragonuity deck. Fun deck, very entertaining to play at the start of the game because not everybody has all the bajillion hand traps in the game. So
right,
you can get a lot of that Dragonuity stuff off. Now
right.
we go into week 2, week 3 of Master Duel. That deck isn't viable anymore.
No, no. Everything really just gets paced out from what I've seen. Emancipator, Drytron. Those I know those are the big two that everybody's talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and like the reason why we see these decks are so volatile is just because this is a best of one format. Like we're not playing 2 to 3 games, so you can't side anything or anything. So you have to have like all the answers at weird ratios.
Mm-hmm.
Something I see a lot is setting a raw lightning storm to 1. Uh, and if you draw it, you draw it. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you don't, then you're kind of down the hole. This format we see in Master Duel, though, it's definitely like a build the big beefy board, and then we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, like, which is not a problem. I think that's perfect for Master
Yep.
Duel. What one thing that should happen, which I'm sure Konami might be thinking of, but it's also Konami. They don't care.
Right.
Uh, like having an actual ranked mode where you can do like sets best two to threes, because
Yeah.
that would you would leave a space for just casual players, people who just play and don't have to worry about legit getting smoked constantly by like top decks and getting OTK'd, and they can just get in and out of games fairly quickly. But for some people, they're like, all right, I didn't expect this. All right, let's run it back.
Yeah.
I think sets for an actual ranked, because the ranking for Master Duel is basically like every game you play is a quote unquote ranked game,
Yeah.
and then you get because of course there's more casual players climbing. They run into someone that plays a I wouldn't even say plays a more meta deck, but just plays more towards the TCG meta where they're running like 12 hand traps, and as soon as they
Hmm.
see that, they're just like, yeah, no, I'm good, and just
Yeah. No,
leave.
I'm good. Amount of times you just drop a max C and they're just like, okay, I'm out. Speaking of like looking at the maxi discussion master, really it's really interesting. I personally haven't really had that much of a problem with maxi. Like, yeah, I mainly play combo decks, so it hurts. But you also drop like 3 cross out, you get 2 called bys. I think I read somewhere the number was like six. You have like a 60 something% chance to, or some ashes. You have like a 60% over a 60% chance to draw into something that stops the max C. Uh, which also kind of sucks because we can't really effectively see what max C is doing. I guess for the meta, if you're getting an over 50% chance to stop it, but you only have like a 1 in 3 chance every game to run it, or 1 in 3 chance at the beginning of the game to run into it.
Mm. Well, I can tell you what Maxi does for the meta, but mind you, right? So in the context for this is like old Maxi, back when it was still legal, in
Right.
like right when XZ summoning came out, like right when XZ summoning came out at the start of actually it was after that. It was like right when Pendulum summoning came out. Maxi versus Pendulum Summon decks didn't matter because Pendulum Summoning, when you summoned all those monsters, it only counted as one Maxi proc.
Yeah, because it was only one pendulum summon.
Yeah, it's only one, and you would special summon five monsters at once. Obviously, if they all had over 1,500 attack, one bottomless trap hole destroys all of them at once.
Man, some judge just ruined some poor man's life.
Yeah,
Like
it,
when he had to explain that to him at some event.
yeah, it's pretty funny when it happens. Um, but that's back in again that I guess you could say Pendulum Summoning was the start to rise of combo decks. Like that's the very base of when the game started to change because that's when Phantom Knights first came out.
Damn.
Which right now is one of the top meta decks in the game because you can just Phantom Knight Brave tokens.
Yeah, I will say though, Phantom Knight Brave has slowed down tremendously.
For Phantom Knights Prank Kids, which I don't think that's any better.
I mean, same initial. What's so scary? Prank Kids is just such a scary deck, man. And I would, I there's like one brave Prank Kids player at my locals so far that I know of that'll bring it every time, and I'm just terrified of that, man.
Hey, if it's viable, you might as well run it.
Yeah,
but yeah, going back to the Maxi, like Maxi wasn't a you have to bring Maxi every time. In Master Duel, you don't have to bring Maxi every time, but
yeah,
Maxi if it doesn't get ashed or Maxi if it doesn't get crossed out, Desi'd is a full stop.
Yeah.
And unless you are also playing Maxi that has a full stop, you 100% just can get OTK'd if you go first against a Maxi deck. Or any deck that runs Maxi, really.
Just go for the deck out challenge, bro.
Yeah, that's also, you can also go for the deck out challenge, but they can also draw into like Ashfires to stop your combo.
Oh man, I love just seeing the little deck out challenges. Most of the time, it's just going to be a synchro deck, junk synchron deck with like the librarian and whatnot. But it's still very beautiful to watch because you have to like manage your resources so perfectly. I would presume I've tried to play this deck before, and my brain kind of just
This is like what Nani,
but like. I would presume you would have to manage your resources in such a like, what's the word I'm looking for? And in a very like tactical way, I guess, so to say. I think it's like the coolest thing ever. But we do have some new cards with this new update.
Yes.
What are your
quote unquote new cards. So if you don't know, right? If you've been living under a rock or this is the first time that you've seen these cards, congratulations. You probably have some of the more cooler cards from the recent year, from last year to finally get into the game.
Yeah.
Like, quite literally, Master Duel dropped with only half of the support from Dawn of Majesty in the game. And now the other half dropped.
I think it's probably a like from a marketing standpoint, it's probably like the best move for them financially. They're going to be getting a lot out of the game if they do it that way. They're halting release of a lot of different cards too. Like there's still no Mystic Mine in the game, thank God.
Well, I'm pretty sure Mystic Mine is banned in the game.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure it's banned.
Or is it just on the list? Because I remember searching it up just because I wanted to see it, and it just would not come up. Okay, so that's probably just me not remembering. But yeah, they just probably from a marketing standpoint, they want to like slow down these releases so they have as much to go off as possible.
Which is fine, but you also run into the one problem because I've done some research kinda and saw some things about Master Duel where it's like we're still in wave 1 of the content being released.
Really?
So yes, we are still in wave 1. So I think there's like one more big like expansion that they're doing, something like that. But other than that, we probably not gonna get to wave two to like maybe June-ish, July-ish,
Okay.
which is fine. Like we did get the rest of the Stardust Dragon support, which is cool. The
Yeah.
stuff from Dawn of Majesty, like, and there's gonna be a synchro event coming out on the 12th
Oh yeah.
that will
Started.
feature all the Stardust stuff. There's the Speedroid stuff that's in there, which I'm pretty sure in that Speedroid deck they just put in a Baron for you to play, which is something like hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there's like one more. Like they released the new content, and then there's a event that comes right after, so you can actually like play test all the
Yeah.
new stuff, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. What do you think about the events so far?
I honestly haven't had a chance to like sit down and play because I've just been busy doing other
Right.
stuff. But for specifically for the synchro event, I'm probably just gonna sit down and like grind it out because I love synchro summoning. I'll use
Right.
all the loner decks and see what's up. But synchro
Right.
summoning is my favorite summon, so
Yeah.
I'm incentivized to actually play this one.
Right. I'm honestly the events are pretty fun. I played like a little bit of the XE event,
Mm-hmm.
not enough to get like a good opinion on it. But playing through the normal rare event, the NR rarity event,
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of having a time though. Like you, I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! It's always gonna have a meta towards it. I was playing gadgets. Um, I was playing gadgets with those rank fours, and
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty fun. Like having that restriction. You can't just automatically go in and press this big giant win button with this unbreakable board or anything. It really makes you think a lot more about how
Mm-hmm.
you play Yu-Gi-Oh! And it kind of brings it down to like a more like solid format you would see from like way, 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 way back when. Like when you're a kid, you know.
Yeah, I was the little bit that I played from the NR deck. I was actually playing Draco Ruler's Ancient Warriors.
Draco Ruler's Ancient War.
Yup.
What?
Because so here's the tech right with that deck in the NR. Because
Right.
Ancient Warriors all have a bunch of continuous spell cards that you can add to your hand. You can play
Right.
those and then summon your Draco Rulers, and you just combo them, and you have these stacked monsters with a bunch of attack, and they're just like, yeah,
Oh, that's
what's left?
beautiful. That is beautiful. But it's such a nice change, and I hope we kind of see that with. It's probably gonna be a little less more with the synchro event because obviously we get cards like Baron de Fleur
Mm-hmm.
that we could play. You're not gonna see any Borreload Savage. You can't use Borreload Savage in this. You can't get any Link monsters in your grave. So, um, I mean, if you want to, go for it, man.
I don't know what you're
That's
talking about.
my favorite card. That's my favorite card, and I love it just for the memes.
It's pretty funny.
Um,
It's honestly pretty funny.
yeah, but we're probably gonna see like that little. We're gonna see that a little less, just because we got you have big synchro cards out there. You have decks like Virtual World.
Mm-hmm.
You have decks like Emancipator still, even though you're not really getting much out of. You're not really getting a lot out of the Blue Dragon's effect. I believe it's Wrap Tight.
Yeah. Hold on.
Because you,
Let me check it because I have it in my side in my deck over here.
yeah, you're not going to get as much out of his effect unless you're running the egg version of the card as the effect monster.
Yeah.
Because typically you run Halki Fibrax and just get that into the grave to put that negate up or something like that. And obviously, you can't link summon. So it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting to see how these decks will do without like that extra added support from link summons. Obviously, you can't run a Prank Kids package in that Emancipator either.
No links up.
So yeah, no link summons. Um, I'm excited. I love these little events that they do. gives me sort of a reason to play, and like the gem rewards are just enough to make me want to play, so I could set up new decks.
Yeah, that's probably the other bad thing about Master Duel is because I don't I still have to find time to play it or to make time to play it because I'm doing like other stuff.
Yeah,
And like in the morning, I'll just if I'm gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh in the morning, I'll just boot up Omega with some coffee and just practice my own decks.
yeah,
Versus jumping on Master Duel that doesn't have it either has the deck that I want to play, but it doesn't have the support that makes it that much better. So you kind of
yeah.
sit there against all these decks that are all fleshed out, and you're just like, man, I wish I could have done this, but I can't do that. For
Right.
example, like I have a in Master Duel, I have an Invoked Predaplant deck. Super fun deck. It's actually pretty strong, and Predaplant the level I forgot what it's called. The level 7 one that lets you banish a level 7 or lower monster card is an ultra rare for a reason because whenever it goes to the graveyard, your next standby phase, you get to add a fusion support card to your hand,
Right.
which is fantastic. But like, what'll happen in the Predaplant deck specifically is there's no way to keep chain fusion summoning like you would with some of the other decks. With the new Predaplant support that's coming out in Dimension Force, which we probably won't get to today, that'll be another episode that we'll talk about it. But there's like you insta fusion into the new level 5 Predaplant, you draw a card. You get to add a Predaplant card to your hand. Okay, that gets negated by Ashfire. Guess what? You get to tribute it and then special summon a Predaplant card from your deck.
Cool.
And then you go into Scorpio because you don't have to worry about Ashfire. Scorpio, go into Darrington Cobra. You get to add another card to your hand, and you just get to do a bunch of this crazy bullshit that you can't really do. And that's why I subbed in the Invoke stuff because at least the Invoked engine gives me a little bit of control that I need on the board to like slow down the other decks. Like what is this? Invoked Caliga. That card is stupid. It's real fucking dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, Caliga is like one of those it's a turn stop. Yeah, a turn stopper for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, you probably there's not really much monsters you run that are about 1800.
Like pretty like because you got to think about it. In this new age of Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a lot less big monsters in the main deck,
Yeah.
and you're using smaller monsters to build up the big monsters.
Man, you remember like the times on the playground when you got that like level 4 normal summon card or that level 4 normal monster with 2000 attack.
Yeah,
And
Alexandrite
you just
Dragon.
rule Alexandrite Dragon. Yeah.
Yep, and you just roll through everything because
And you just roll everything.
there's not really much they can do about it.
Yeah. I think like what it misses sometimes compared to like I mean obviously trying out the new stuff with Sims is like giving you a reason to play outside of Sims. One thing like they could manipulate they could change that up with like the ban list. Something I liked was I love playing Tri Brigade, and they put Zodiac Trident as one on Master Duel, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just taking the opportunity to play that because that's banned in the TCG right now. So I think if they did more of that, maybe in more of a way that fits Master Duel, that could bring some players. I could bring some players in from TCG a little more.
Yeah, like there's
Just
also
giving them the chance to play things that they
yeah.
typically wouldn't be able to play in Sims or in the TCG right now.
Mm-hmm. The other thing is like the gems. Well, the gems they're very how do I say this? They give you a lot of gems at first, but once you've like built a few decks, it's kind of over.
Once that well dries out, it gets a little rough out here, man.
Like the deck that I'm currently building that I actually have up and running, it just like it's not finished yet, is the Chaos the Chaos Lightsworn deck. Fantastic deck. However, a lot of the Lightsworn cards that you need are URs and SRs.
Yeah.
So it gets, and especially the extra deck gets very expensive. So I, even to get to where I'm at now, I've had to on besides like playing online and doing all the solos and stuff, I've had to scrap 3 decks to make it.
Yeah. That's rough. Like I don't, unless you're whaling money out. I
And
don't think
even
a
whaling
master.
money doesn't is more efficient to be free to play and make a new account than actually spend money in the
Yeah.
game. Which is wild to say any because it's basically a gotcha game
Yeah.
and you're better off just not spending money because the value just isn't there.
Right. Right.
So that's what I find hilarious. Um, let's see. I think we covered all the Master Duel stuff.
Yeah. So
Honestly,
basically, to like conclude, please give us ban list.
ban lists, give us more gems. You know, the
I,
events are cool. They-
I love the events. I just want a ban list, man. Eater of Millions deck is stupid.
yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. Uh,
Hey, but at least one thing I'll give Konami about Master Duel is even though they're still cheaters that'll come up from time to time, they're very on top of getting people
they
out of
did a
here.
really they did a really like fast job on banning those. First of all, why are you trying to cheat, Master Duel?
Everybody, most of the population of Master Duel, except for like I don't know, 30% of people are just casuals anyway.
And we were like, most of us just want to play troll decks.
Yeah,
Like, I just want to sit out here play Kali, like DDD Kaliuga rank up deck.
and you're just trying
And
to
I'm
start the
the.
game with 13 cards in your main deck.
I
Why are you like this?
gotta cut my main deck down just to play, bro. No, a ban list sometime soon very would be very nice. You know, maybe we'll see it a little after this synchro event. Hopefully,
Mm.
maybe little surprises. But I will say the Konami Master Duel team they do surprise us from time to time with some of these updates. I don't think it's going to be like this forever. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's a bad game. It's a game that you don't always want to play as well.
While it is not flopping, it is not flopping. There are things. This is like with most games, where it's
Yeah.
like there are definitely some quality of life changes that would just make it better.
Yeah.
That's all we're missing.
Okay.
All right, now here's the real meat and
Big boy.
potatoes, the big boy conversation.
Oh, I love this.
It is time. This Friday or the technically it comes out on Wednesday, the 13th, but it becomes legal on April 15th. The Albaz Strike deck that got announced back in October will be out and playable for the small price of $11 plus tax.
Mm.
And we we've both been thinking about this deck a lot, like since
I have
it
dreams
is
about this deck.
yeah, no, since it's come out. Honestly, there's a lot of stuff to just go through. So do you want to take the lead on this one?
Okay, what do we want to start off with first? Like
Honestly, we could talk about the set list.
the
Really,
set list.
yeah.
Okay, the set list. Okay, so um, Albion. Wait, Albion the Brain of Dragons on the set?
The way that I have it listed here is it's extra deck first.
Extra deck first.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up 1 second.
And if you need anything, I could send you the link to the wiki as well.
Holy fuck! Is Albion the Brain of Dragon is in the set? I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, there's a there's a lot of shit in this deck, dude.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go off the one on the site because it did get updated a few times.
Okay,
I
cool.
think. So starting off, Tri Brigade Mare Courier, and man, as a Tri Brigade player, this card is my wet dream with this structure deck. Uh, when your opponent activates a monster effect and you control a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz material, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard and negate that effect. So, bam, hand trap. Uh,
OCG hand
Nice little
trap,
hand trap.
specifically
Yeah.
made for this deck.
You could send, if this card is banished, you can add one Fallen of Albaz or one monster that lists Fallen
That
of
mentions
Albaz
it.
in its text from your deck to your hand, except Tri Brigade Mare Courier. You can only use the each effect of Tri Brigade Mare Courier once per turn. So, Tri Brigade tech with this card, you run it at 1, and typically you want to pitch this card with your kit. You just want to get it into your graveyard. You want to get into your graveyard. You want to hit the Tri Brigade effect to go into your Fairjeet or Bear Brum, typically, so you can get it banished. Once you get it banished, you're going to be searching Albion, not Albion. It's going to be the Shrouded Dragon card. It's a beefy.
Oh, that's Lubellion.
Not Lubellion. I think it's.
Wait,
Oh
you
yeah,
mean
it's Albion the
Albion?
Shrouded.
Okay, yeah, that's one.
You're
I'm
gonna
thinking
want
about
to
the
search
extra.
Albion. Yeah, you're gonna want to be searching Albion the Shrouded Dragon. This is the basic combo for like the Tri Brigade, running a Tri Brigade branded, running Tri Brigade with a branded package in it. You're gonna want to be searching that Albion. Albion effect is going to let you send another trap card that's in
Spell or
this
trap.
deck. It's gonna send you a spell or let you send a spell or trap to the grave. What you're really gonna want to be sending though is a trap in the deck, branded sword, which is another fantastic card. Banish any number of branded spells or traps from your graveyard. Special summon that many Ice Blade tokens. You're not really using that for that effect, but you're using it for second effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your banished Fallen of Albaz or monsters that specifically list that card, Mare Courier. Add it to your hand, and you can only use Branded Blade once per turn. So you get that Mare Courier into your hand, and the Albion effect. And the Albion effect pitches that. So off that, you're then going to go into your Predaplant, Verde Anaconda. If Verde Anaconda gets hit, then
It should get hit, but like
If
if it doesn't,
if it doesn't, we
me.
got that money. But then you're going to go into your Predaplant, and then you can go into Ice Shade, and then you got a hand trap and an Ice Shade. So that's 2 interruptions right there, then a board clear. So I'm really loving that package because it really puts Tri Brigade. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily puts Tri Brigade onto the map, but it gives Tri Brigade like one other thing it can use, especially after the some more kits and the Recital Starling hit on Bird Up. Because Bird Up right now, it's in a little bit of a weird spot. Like people are playing big Bird Up packages. Sometimes they're playing just small Bird Up packages. Because you can kind of brick on the other birds. So Tri Brigade's in like a weird place of where everyone's like flexing it around and like putting different things in here, doing different things in here, and it's all kind of like in a weird divided state. Maybe this can just add one more thing into the chaos, I guess, and maybe it could be the better setup. It could maybe be the better setup for Tri Brigade. I don't know yet. I next to Despia branded though, it's probably one of the decks I'm going to look at running.
We should also mention this is with the new. By the way, this is not out yet. This has not been in any like expansion or anything. Lubellion, the Searing Dragon, is the new fusion dragon card. Which, if I could find it here,
that's the one that
lets you fusion summon.
Yeah, fusion summon.
It's fusion summon by shuffling stuff back into the deck. Yep, there it goes. One of the things that I'm enjoying, because here's what I did. Let me just say this, right? So when this got announced the first time, like I pre-ordered it, did all my stuff, make sure I was ready to go, so I didn't have to worry about it later. And then probably like around January, I actually went into the Dueling Sim Omega and just built the deck, the structure deck, because the list finally came out for it, and I've
Hmm.
been laving this deck from January up until now.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that you can do with Lubellion is like if you ever get a Destiny Hero brick, once you can use Branded Fusion, which comes with this deck, which is basically Fusion Destiny. Lets you mill two cards for the fusion summon of one of your branded monsters from your extra deck. So whatever it lists. So maybe you get like a dasher in your hand because you drew into it. You can go into Lubellion using Celestial and Fallen Albaz, activate Lubellion's effect, and then discard the dasher from your hand and shuffle the two back into your deck, and then you can get a Phoenix Destroyer without having
Send
without
it
any.
back.
Yep, and they get sent back and reshuffled.
Beautiful.
And if you draw back into Fusion Destiny and you bounce back the DPE, you still have options to keep bringing it out because you didn't lose your materials for it.
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of like with this sort of setup. I know, uh, when I'm playing Despia branded on Sims and whatnot, when I'm looking at it, it almost feels like any card you're running, as long as it's a dark or it's a light, nothing is a brick, really.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see in some Despia deck lists, you're not going to see an Ash Blossom because it's obviously fire typing. So instead, you're going to see effect veilers. You're going to see more of that dark and light synergy you see with Dragon Link,
Mm-hmm.
and keeping that in mind. And with these synergies, you're also going to be paying attention to cards like Goes and Match, as well, which could be very helpful in a meta where Prank Kids is just so fucking rampant right now.
Yep.
And the Brave package, with that Brave package as well, it can really slow things down. And I know, time of recording, YCS Charlotte,
Prank
we're
Kids
on
is
day
definitely
2.
running it up,
Prank Kids is running things right now, but
but
we're
Etta
seeing a
Lynch has
lot of
been
other
countering
decks.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of other decks that are just taking advantage of their side decks right now. One match that I watched through and through was Shu Ping, the Drytron player, against Prank Kids. I forgot the Prank Kids player name.
It was I think it was
R-
Ramiro.
Ramiro, yeah. And just taking amazing advantage of Goes and Match, and putting it onto the board with cards like Auroradon was just amazing tech plays. So Prank Kids is not like the end all be all. You just have to set up your decks in a way, and I think Despia branded
Mm.
is a maybe a good setup to
Because
help
also
stop.
at the time of recording this, Destiny Despia pre Albaz Strike deck is currently top 8 right now in
Yes.
YCS Charlotte. So
Uh,
that's
mwah.
that's also fantastic. So here's what we're gonna do. Before we talk about any more combos, I'm just gonna quickly go through this deck list. So
Yeah.
it's 40 cards for the main, 5 in the extra deck, and then also get 5 tokens. So you got Tri Brigade Mercurier, which is new. Spriggan's Cat, which is also new. The Golden Soul Sword. This used to be
So,
Unlikely Sword Soul Allies.
oh,
Previously,
really?
yeah. So first off, in the first 3 cards that they printed, 2 of them are hand traps. With
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, with Golden Soul Sword, when a monster declares an attack, you can special summon it to negate the attack, and then if you have a fusion monster that mentions Albaz, you can destroy the monster that declared the attack.
Oh, interesting.
And also, just specifically for this deck, the way that they have it set up is when there's a monster that's special summon, or a monster that's banished. Excuse me, monster that's banished. You can banish this card from the field or the graveyard, and then you can special summon from your graveyard a spellcaster whose attack also equals its own defense.
Right.
So the Dogmatical Floridus the Knighted is what they have in here for the target for the Golden Soul Sword. But you can also run Soul Sword Iris, and you can mill it immediately to the graveyard
We
with
love
Branded
Irish
Fusion.
here.
Yeah, Iris is as a free
Beautiful
agent
card.
card. It's fantastic.
It is a
So
beautiful looking card.
you have Golden Soul Sword, Fall in the Albaz. They give you one Fall in the Albaz, which is why you order three of the deck. Abelion, the Shrouded Dragon, Dogmatical Flordius, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, if you're into that. Thunder King, the Lightning Strike Kaiju, Chaos Dragon Levianeer. There's a light Chaos engine in here, like Austin mentioned earlier. Radion, the multidimensional Kaiju. Artifact Scythe, which
That shit ain't going nowhere.
whoa, it'd be real funny if it got banned.
I don't think. On like the Scythe argument, honestly, I don't. If they're reprinting it, I don't see it getting banned. Like their structure decks are like, how like you bring new players in. Really,
Yeah,
the first thing like typically when a new player comes in, they're just like, what deck should I run? Most of the time, like somebody's gonna recommend, hey, just buy three of these structure decks. And you'll be fine. Buy three of the Salamangreat deck. Buy three of the new Cyber Dragon deck. You get three Ash Blossoms inside. You'll be fine.
yeah. You also get three imperms in the Cyber Dragon.
Yeah, and you get three Imperms in the Cyber Dragon. So
If you buy
I
three
don't
of them.
think they're gonna. If anything, we're gonna see a hit on Dagda. But like, uh,
Hey, look, anything to really slow down. Because first off, here's the thing: control decks will always be in the game. There's nothing wrong with playing control decks. That is what they are. They're supposed to control the game. It just sometimes because of how accessible Scythe is, to just straight up lock out your extra deck, which is such an important feature in I want to say like 90% of decks. They're like Edelish doesn't care if they get Scythe locked.
just play Flunder, bro.
Yeah, they don't care if they get Scythe locked. So there are exceptions to it, but the majority of decks that are viable and like top meta need their extra deck to function. So
hmm
that's one of the reasons why they added Scythe into it and why Scythe is a problem.
Yeah.
Um, so White Dragon Wyvern Burster, Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, these are some of the
I love these boys so much.
they these two cards together have just been iconic. I remember when these things used to be at three. Both of them were at three. That was a time. Uh,
Oh,
but like I said, this goes into the whole theme of the light chaos that you're also playing with Albez. So you can technically run if you wanted to swap stuff out and have like a 50% fusion deck and some more link support. You can go into a Striker Dragon, especially with Star Liege being reprinted right after it.
oh man, that reprint is big. Like, I hope we see way more Dragon Link players off that off that reprint.
Yeah,
We will, man.
I legit
Dragon Link
just checked
community
it.
just needs to get set up and like offer a masterclass, bro.
Yeah, bro. I
So we
just
can get
looked it
more
up.
out here.
Star Liege is at $13 right now, 13 maybe 15, and the common reprint of it is going for 5.
Ah,
That's how important Star Liege is, and how important just this
that's
deck
your
is.
starter, man. That is your normal summon starter. Like off the bat, you want to see that in your hand. It's funny enough, I really don't want to see Black Dragon or White Dragon in my hand.
Hmm.
Like as soon as I draw and I'm going first, I don't really want to see those cards in my hand because I have nothing I could proc them off the graveyard with. I have 6 cards. I think it's like 6 if we're not including the 2. I have like 3 Chaos Spaces and then 3 Star Liege that I could just search them right off the bat. And if I'm drawing like both of them at the same time and I'm just looking at my hand, that's happened before as well. And I'm just looking at my hand like, I don't want to see these right now. What the hell
Hmm.
this is going to do for me? It's like the worst feeling.
Hmm. And especially here's one other thing, like even if you don't run Star Liege, for if you're set up and you're running Albez Invoked, which I am, deadass, you can send your Star Liege or your Wyvern Burster to the grave, normal summon your Alistair, link it up, overlay, do whatever you want, send both of them to the grave. You get to add the other version to your hand, and then invocation. And your combo just keeps going.
And it goes, and it goes. But then
Give
what
me
do we got?
1 second.
Curve Magic.
Yeah.
Discard normal summon. You discard 1 card, add 1 polymerization. Normal spell. Probably not going to be running that.
Yeah, I took it out from my deck, but again, as a starter, which is important. Just if you're ever getting into the game as a starter deck, having this isn't too bad.
Yeah, then you also have like
you got Summoner Monk in there. Another important card, Ghost Ogre, and Snow
Ghost Ogre.
Rabbit reprint common.
Ghost Ogre, Snow Rat reprint common. It's gonna feel weird seeing it as a common, but I mean,
Fantastic
it's getting
card.
more accessible, important cards into the hands of players. So we can stop hearing the hand traps are so expensive. I mean, they are. I think ashes are still like
the ashes are still 30. Ghost is probably one of the few that isn't expensive. It's like
it isn't expensive. But Ghost Ogre is a big card right now in the meta, as it can put a nice little halt to the Brave Engine. It's a card you want to see. People are main decking it a lot. Effect Veiler, on the other hand, I mean, people are still running Effect Veiler. I think you kind of want to see it. People are wanting to see it a little less because you can do things to kind of dodge the Effect Veiler effect, so to say. Talking about the Shu Ping matchup earlier, where he used Goes and Match to dodge a Forbidden Droplet. You could do these small interactions like that that really just kind of make cards like Effect Veiler or Impermanent. Also, Book of Moon exists against the Flunder matchup. So you just flip it, and then there's nothing to hit it off of. I know branded in red. A tech I've been using a little bit is using one of my Despia. I believe it's Despia Tragedy in the Grave. As soon as I get Effect Veiler or anything, chain branded in red on top of that. So it just sends the Alubar, banishes it away, I believe. And then you could still get your search off the Alubar. So there's ways to work around Effect Veiler, which is why you don't really see it in more decks. People would rather run Ash over Effect Veiler, but sometimes if the typing calls for it, like in a Despia deck or in a Dragon Link deck where you want Darks and Lights that work with your fusion summons or work with any of your other summons, you're going to want to see it that way. Or you're going to want to use an Effect Veiler. But until, or if you're like more of a budget player, Effect Veiler is a great choice until you get those ashes in, man.
Yep. Effect Veiler always good. I know in my version I still run it. So
yeah.
There's Omni Dragon Brotar.
This card is a sleeper card, man.
Yeah, this shit is really good.
Sleeper.
It's super good.
The one thing people don't expect is the Brotar and a Dragon Link deck, and it's hilarious when you resolve it, and they're just like, oh, okay. I really like this card being in, mainly for like Dragon Link plays again. It's a fun little card to just run.
Even as a way to just soak up an attack, if something got popped, summoning Brotar during your opponent's main phase, and it resolves, you immediately just get to add an Albaz, or if there's a light or dark monster that you have in your deck that you can add the same type and attribute on the field, you can still add it off of Brotar's effect.
Yeah.
And it still lets you soak, so you get to stack hand advantage even on your opponent's turn. So Brotar, chef's kiss. So here's what we got new. Branded Loss, which was Branded Loss is the new name. It was previously named, I think it was Branded in Paradise. Something like that. So the activation of your cards and effects that include the fusion summon of a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. If you fusion summon a fusion monster, you can add one falling to Albaz or one monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of this effect of Branded Lost once per turn.
So it's a Brandon card. You could search it off of Alubar. I don't think it's a bad card, because let's say you draw Branded Fusion, you don't need that right now, or something along the lines. You could throw it out if you'd like. It'd be a nice little spice or sauce card. You kind of just throw in.
Here's the thing about Branded Lost, because I actually use this a lot in mine. You want to think of Branded Lost similar to Magical Meltdown, because they both have
Yeah.
the same effect. And the other thing you want to keep in mind about Branded Lost is that it is off any fusion summon that you do. It's not limited to any kind of fusion summon. You can always add a Fallen Albaz to your hand, and your opponent can't activate anything in response to your monsters being fusion summoned or the activations of effect that would fusion summon a monster.
So then it should. Oh, so then your Albion, the brand of dragon, can't get negated either with an
Yep.
imperm or anything.
Also,
Okay.
some haha funny tech. If you play Magic and run Branded Lost, your Magic Mafia can't be negated. Even if you ritual summon, because it is a effect that can fusion summon.
That'll get you. That'll get you some looks.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice little fun card. I think up next on my list is the big boy card.
Ah, yes.
I
The
don't
one,
know
the
about
only.
yours. The
Yeah.
one, the only
A branded fusion.
branded fusion. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, this card is crazy, man. Ash this if you can. Stop it if you can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Honestly, it's not
it,
like the main. It's not like the you. It's one of those cards where it's like if you let it go through, you made a mistake. But at the same time, if you can allow for it, if you have something on the back end that it doesn't matter if this goes through, then you'd let it. But
yeah,
it's just so strong.
it's fucking crazy, man. And this like plays into the splashable engine discussion we see right now. Obviously, what people are making the comparison to is like this is a fusion destiny, just man better because the only restriction it puts you on you now is except
Fusion
fusion
monster.
monsters.
Yep.
So you could like the boards we're seeing is like Mirror Jade and then DPE.
Yep. That's a
It's
classic board I loved. I just did
and
that
it's
this morning.
and it's like uh, it's like yeah, it plays into that splashable engine conversation now. It's, it's like a 50-50 we see in the community. It's like, oh, I love splashable engines. It makes this deck and this deck better. I hate splashable engines. It's too much. We get things like based all the time, which I'm sure base is gonna take advantage of this in some way, or one of those cards where you just make a deck out of all the splashable engines you can find, then just run hand traps for the rest of them because that's how strong the cards are that you're getting off these engines are. Um, uh, so it's kind of like a weird discussion. Like, hey, it makes this deck better. Like one deck that takes a hold of this branded engine is Cyber Dragons, and I know Cyber Dragon players out there are just loving like a chance to play more Yu-Gi-Oh. So
They can actually play their Cyber Dragons.
so like just taking advantage of like a splashable engine is something that's kind of big for the smaller decks, but it just makes the bigger decks that much bigger. Find myself in the more of the side like, hey, this makes smaller decks better. I'm a fan of the splashable engines, but I do admit like when we see Brave just so rampant, it's like, oh,
It's hard to
you kind of feel
justify.
hopeless.
Yeah.
You kind of feel hopeless at times when see the Water Enchantress going the right of Aramesir, but at the same time, for you, it just makes for the player, it can make some decks a lot more fun. We're seeing we're seeing Sinavalon decks. I believe that's what it's called at some regionals. I think the deck actually topped a few as well. So it's making like these more interesting decks, but it's also buffing crazy strong decks. It's a weird conversation, and Branded Fusion is also going to be in that situation as well.
Hey man, if Branded Fusion does not get limited at some point, I'd be distraught. As much as I love this card and I know how crazy this card is, if this does not get hit at least once, like at least limited to two,
It
because
would I mean, it
It's
would have to because Fusion Destiny got hit.
yeah. Fusion Destiny got well. To be fair, Red Eyes Fusion didn't get hit, but you know,
Yeah, but like the with Red Eyes Fusion,
it's a lot less potent because
it limits you so much.
you can't normal summon or I think it's like normal summon or set or special summon
Yeah.
the turn that you use it. Like
Uh,
that's it. Usually when you're running a Fusion Destiny like right now, if you ever draw it, that is like your final combo ender.
and then you're also, if we're talking about like the Dragoon era, it's like you're also running these terrible, terrible classic bricks that don't do anything for you.
Yeah.
And you have a Celestial and a
Celestial
Celestial and a
Dasher,
and
Chain
you can
Denier,
just summon a
Malicious.
Nibiru off of you can summon a Nibiru off a Dasher. It's still my favorite interaction to this day.
Yeah.
That actually do something, but then you have this like, then you have this Giga Chad branded Fusion out here that kind of just walks over and slaps both the Red Eyes Fusion and Fusion Destiny's asses. It's like, what's up? um, I love this card. Obviously, in Despia deck, it gives you so much you can do. You send off the Despia Tragedy. You send off the Light Hex. You can go into a Dragoon. There's a little bit of an argument, like, should you go into Mirror Jade over Dragoon? I like the Dragoon because it's an Omni Negate. You just discard 4,000 card that can't be touched or destroyed. You get an Omni Negate off it, but I definitely see the case for Mirror Jade.
Mirror Jade during your opponent's turn, anything that you think might be problematic, you can just banish it.
A non-targeted banish.
A non-targeted banish, and then the end phase where you just get to literally do whatever you want.
Yeah, and if they find a way to out it, clear board. A good old like mini Zeus effect.
Yeah.
To clear board as well, which is nice.
You have to the turn that you send Ice Jade to the graveyard, you have to end it there. Like of course, obviously there are some other outs, but like smaller rogue decks that don't get affected by Brain Fusion, i.e. like Magic Key. At any point you draw into Magic Key battle, and Ice Jade or either of Ice Jade's effects pop, you just pop the battle, shuffle something back into the deck, and you legit are unaffected for that card effect. I think it also works with Nibiru, where if you special summon a bunch, because it's an effect to tribute.
Oh right.
It is on all your Magic Key monsters are unaffected. So
I also said Clown Thing earlier. Obviously, you're not sending in Despia Tragedy. You're sending your Fallen of Albaz with that branded effect, so you can get your Albion the Branded Dragon out, or your Lubellion the Searing Dragon, along with your Hex. And typically, you could just go into the Dragoon off that. But you could also do a thing where you send Tragedy and Alubar, I think, and then you just go into Masquerade. Masquerade burn is, you get 2 Masquerade Dragons out.
It's pretty strong.
Gets that adventure deck. They're not gonna be happy. This is one of those fun interactions where like everyone knows you use life points as a resource. So they take a 2,000 hit on top of Preda, plus whatever hit you're doing with Masquerade. They're not going to have a lot of life points left. And when we're playing this format, where like time rules apply, obviously. I did actually see for this event they updated the time to 45 minutes.
Yep.
So I guess it works a little less for you in that way.
But like an average 40-minute Swiss format, game 3, you only got 5 minutes left on the clock. Turn 1, Masquerade.
Yeah. It's a fun little card. To throw around. But yeah, Branded Fusion, that's the big one. We're going to see it probably in decks everywhere. See it in your Invoke decks. You're going to see it in your Despia decks.
Especially in Invoke, because if you draw your Invocation, don't draw an Alistair. Hey, guess what you can do, gamers?
Yeah.
Branded Fusion. Use your Alistair and your Fallen Albaz. You can get Lubellion. You can fusion summon into something else, and then use your invocation.
Exactly.
To get pretty much whatever you want back out.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big card. I wouldn't be surprised if like based like decks are definitely going to take advantage of it, which is going to be a little crazy. You get the Illusion of Souls out and all of that other fancy junk.
100%. This is you don't have to, but if you don't run branded fusion at 3, everybody's looking at you funny. That's the best way to put it. Like, if you're not running it at 3, what are you doing?
We want to see it because, like, if you see it in your opening hand, if you're playing Despia, that gives you an excuse to just drop, search out a branded in red, another card you'll probably want to run at 3. I know it's like a discussion between 2 or 3. I always want to see a branded in red in my hand because I could just set it, flip it on the turn, and just go crazy with Chimera. Guardian Chimera, great card out of the box set. Battle of Chaos.
Yeah, Battle of Chaos, bro. Guardian Chimera. The only restriction to Guardian Chimera is that your opponent has to have the stuff on their field for your effects to go off, but it's still, if they have it on the field, like, you can pop 2 cards, draw 1, or pop 1 card and draw 2 cards for free.
Oh, I love that card.
And if you have a polymerization in the graveyard, it cannot be targeted.
Cannot be touched.
So you just kind of sit there with a beat stick that's 3,300 attack and defense, and you just have a wall.
And just have a wall on top of whatever Dragoon or Masquerade setup you have.
Yep. So,
but
this card is very stupid.
Branded in white.
Branded in white. I actually don't. I have no information about this card.
So it's kind of like the pre-branded in red. This is what if you're playing Despia before whatchamacallit, what's the set I'm thinking of? Burst of Destiny. Yeah, if you're playing Despia before Burst of Destiny, you're probably running one of these. You banish fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand field as material, including a dragon monster. You can also banish monsters from your graveyard as material. Use Fallen of Albaz as fusion material from your hand field or banishing itself from your graveyard. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there to activate the effect of Fallen Albaz's turn, you can set this card. You can only use this once per turn. So yeah, I mean, I have this set up in I believe my Branded Tri-Brigade deck. Over just because I'm not running the Despia cards, or that many Despia cards in that deck. But this is kind of just like the pre-branded in red, branded in red effect. So it's nothing crazy, but it's still it's still good. It's still a good card to have in the deck. If it's just starting out. You don't want to spend crazy money. It's a good card to have.
And then we got Branded Bond. I actually, I don't know if you might have taken it out of yours, but I know in my version, I still run Branded Bond. Because if you branded fusion and you to go into Lubellion, and you use the Shrouded Dragon and Fallen Albaz, you can just bounce the Shrouded Dragon back into your deck and then send Branded Bond that sets itself during the end phase. And at any point, if it's still in your back row and your opponent has a monster from the extra deck, goodbye, monster from the extra deck. It is now my Ice Jade Dragon.
It is now my Ice Jade Dragon, yes, sir. It's like one of those effects also, like, I guess it's like, you also got to, like, keep in mind Super Poly, I guess. It's going to be funny as, like, the mirror matches with these decks. We're gonna see like a.
I can't wait for the mirror matches, dude, because it's just gonna be so funny.
Because you're gonna be like, "Oh, word, you super poly me? Okay, I'll super poly you back."
And remember, you can't activate when super poly activates. You cannot activate cards in response to it.
Yeah, so it's one of those cards. I'm sure it's gonna be fun mirror match. Probably something you're running again if you're just getting into the game.
Like. Here's what I'll say, especially against Phantom Knight's deck, where they abuse the hell out of Dragoon and stuff like that.
Phantom Knights abuses Dragoon?
Well, one of the Phantom Knights player at my locals runs it a lot. Even with the Brave package, he still runs Dragoon. Like, he locks it down. He's like, no one has fun. But like against players that run Dragoon and stuff like that, Super Poly and Fallen Albaz is just an answer to really anything. And if you match up against another Dragon player come May when Dimension Force comes out, you get a contact fusion
Mm,
for dragons. It you can do a lot of stupid. If you're not, again, Super Poly in this deck is one of those. If you're not running it, we're looking at you weird again.
yeah, no, it is like $2 a pop too, but they're like 2 or 3. It's certainly getting bought up right now, but running it at 2 to 3 is kind of big. Just out so many cards.
I have
It forces so many responses and so forth, so on.
I have 2 Super Polys next to me right now. They're staring at
Yep.
me.
Just keep them on you at all times. We'll do these two together, I guess. Fusion Gate and Fusion Recycling Plant. I'm not really planning on wouldn't.
So
Would.
a Fusion Gate, no, but Fusion Recycle Plant. I was
Yeah.
running in a different version of this deck. I was running Fusion Recycle Plant when I was testing and running it with the small Predaplant engine with Anaconda, not Anaconda.
My Anaconda, what?
With Cobra Darlington, Cobra and Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
Because it one thing that you'll do is you'll summon Scorpio, get Darlington Cobra out, and then because Darlington Cobra lets you add any fusion support card, you can add Fusion Recycle Plant, and you can discard a card, get your polymerizations and stuff out. But you really run Fusion Recycle Plant for the recov. That's like the main thing because it lets you recov poly, lets you
Roll.
recov. It lets you recov whatever you used as material as well.
A little extra thing.
Mm-hmm. So it's not a bad card. It's just true. The only thing about Fusion Recycle Plant is you want to ask yourself, how am I going to integrate this into my deck? Because yeah, you can run all these stuff, but if you look at all the other cards that you want to run at 3, like Branded Fusion, you're probably not going to run Branded Lost at 3, but there's still like other stuff that you have to make space for.
Yeah. Yeah, for myself. Then you also have like Fusion Substitute coming up. I know this card's name's always sure as a polymerization.
But the thing with Fusion Substitute, why it's not it's the trade off that you get. Fusion Substitute, yes, you can. It's treated as poly, but you can only Fusion Summon with face-up cards on your side of the field. Versus poly, you can do it with cards in your hand. The only other thing about Fusion Substitute is that you can banish it to draw a card. So that's what you're trading for Fusion Substitute.
Yeah, I'm probably not looking at running that either, but we got some of the reprint, like the big reprints. You see like Gold Sark.
Gold Sarcophagus. Easy combo
card.
into Mercurier lets you get a free Albaz turn 1.
Yep, that and so I guess for this deck, yeah, you're specifically running it from Mercurier. I know in Despia decks, it's seeing some play, so you could just pitch the tragedy. That's going to let you search off an Aliber if you have a bad hand. Another great like budget deck if you're just starting off is definitely Flunder, which you could use this for. And if we're talking about budget decks and great cards, you running Pot of Extravagance as well.
Pot of Extravagance, which top end Pot of Extravagance is going for $23 at least.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, top end.
Top end is 23. And
yeah,
with
so
the common reprint, it's down to 5 for pre-order. It could change at any point.
Yeah, so again, like another great card if you're a budget player. You're grabbing this so you could play your Flunder and your Earth Machine decks and probably not that Earth Machine, more of like Machina Earth Machine. You're grabbing that for cards you don't really need your graveyard. Also, or you don't really need your extra deck for like Edelich as well. It's a popular archetype player starting off as well. We also get Called by the Grave.
Called by the Grave, just
very important card.
Yeah, very, very important. Limited one.
Play Yu-Gi-Oh,
but it definitely lets you play Yu-Gi-Oh.
It lets you play Yu-Gi-Oh. Very important card.
There are people out there that want Called by the Grave banned, and I'm just like, what are you smoking? Can I have some of that? Because Call by the Grave, while it may not be necessary to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, having just Call by the Grave to be like, hey man, oh your
Okay.
Ash Fire is gone, or hey
Yeah,
man, you activated a like let's say for example,
Baylor.
if like Baylor, Noe Fox Tune to special summon a punk card, gone. There's just a bunch of stuff that you, or even on the field, if they activate a card and they have a copy of it in the graveyard, banish it, negated, it's gone.
I'll be honest, like if I go through a game, if I go through a round where I don't get hand trapped at the beginning, I'm gonna set that call of the great called by to either just play mind games and mess with. Never underestimate the power of a set card. This is how I beat a Drytron player before. He's just sitting there like, "What the hell did you set? What did you set?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. It could be anything." This is just a called by. uh, so it's a great card, especially for players starting out. You love to see it.
You love to see it.
It
Speaking
gives
of a
you that
great card it's great starting out, Dark Ruler
dark
no more.
or no more. So this format, what we're really seeing is we're seeing a return to unbreakable boards. That's kind of like what we want set up. I'll say we're like we're straying farther away from the scythe lock setup, really. And what we're looking for is nowadays like unbreakable setups, right? Dark Ruler no more. Obviously, big card helps with that. I remember my first time out of locals, and I got Dark Ruler. And I had the Dragoon set up and everything, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, I got to do this," and I immediately get like fucking big boy comboed by a Ignister deck, putting out that giant ass monster, and it's just like, oh. Oh, this exists, huh? This is a big card for like new returning players to have in their decks, especially with the kind of format we have right now. Yeah, you can't kill them with the OTK. Yeah, I could make an argument. This is probably just like a little bit of a slightly worse off Forbidden Droplet, I guess.
It is your budget Forbidden Droplet.
You can't kill them that turn, but it's a nice card to have, and I think it's an important card to have. Again, returning players going to Flunder, you could just raw dog set this at 3 in your Flunder deck and have no problems at all. Just because of how flexible the deck is. But yeah, you want this is a nice card to have. Nice little bit of sauce. I'm seeing Branded Sword next.
Oh
I
yeah,
talked about that earlier.
Branded Sword. We talked about that earlier. Even if you're not using it for the tokens, which it's pretty funny though.
Yeah.
You just have these beefy ass tokens with 2500 attack that you can just use for fusion summons.
Yeah, I really like the secondary effect. Like I said, my Tri Brigade. This is part of my main combo for my Tri Brigade plays. And yeah, I think if you do see it in your hand, it's not entirely a brick either, because Albion the Shrouded Dragon, it's like one or the other. If you send it from your deck, you have to put Albion to the bottom of your deck.
Yep.
But if you have it in your hand, I believe you could special summon the Albion, and it counts as a Fallen of Albaz as well.
It does, and you can also draw a card if you use it the other way.
Yeah. Oops. So it's not entirely a brick in that case either. Branded Retribution. I don't think I've.
That is the counter trap card. Now,
okay. Yeah.
I've used this counter trap card and I've tried to make it work, but when it comes to these counter trap cards, especially deck specific, let me just read the effect. When a spell or trap card or monster effect activates, that includes the effect to special summon a monster, return to the extra deck one face-up fusion monster you control, or 2 fusion monsters in your graveyard that mention Fallen to Albaz as material, and if you do, negate the activation. If you do that, destroy that card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one branded spell or trap, except Branded Retribution, and add it to your hand. Very juiced. This is a strong counter trap card.
Yeah.
But I have no use for this at all.
Yeah, so I'm seeing this in a lot of deck lists. I'm seeing this round 1, I believe.
Yeah.
Because you're sending, like in this case, I'm going back to the Despia deck. You're sending these cards out anyways. So let's say you have a Mirror Jade on the field. What I typically like, let's see, hold on. One branded, so two. Okay, and from your graveyard though.
Yep.
So you're seeing these cards that list Fallen of Albaz in your graveyard anyways. So like Titan Glad Dragon is one. You're seeing them in your graveyard anyways, so you're gonna use that effect if you don't want to necessarily bounce the card you have back into your extra deck. You're seeing two of those cards in your graveyard anyways at some point, depending on what type you're running. So it's a nice little a nice little counter trap that's searchable as well.
Yeah, it is
Card.
and why the reason in my version that I don't run this card specifically is like I've played through a lot of games trying to use this card, and whenever actually needed it to like go off, I just never had anything, nothing in the graveyard to like bounce it, and like I've just had more success running a Solemn Strike instead of running Branded Retribution every time. Even if you could search this, like Solemn Strike, a Solemn Warning just guaranteed puts a stop to it when I need it, and I only have to pay life points for it.
Yeah.
That's like my only other like I wouldn't even say concern, but that's what you would consider of this using this card versus any of the Solemn cards. Like the counter trap card specifics to archetypes for the most part are very like flexible. For example, Magic Key, all you have to do is just have a Magic Key Ritual Fusion or Synchro Monster or XEs. Easy. You do that turn one. B Trooper, have a B Trooper monster on the field. Easy. You can do that at any time. If you're going second, and then you like set this and all your fusions got negated and can't really put anything on the board, this doesn't do anything for you. Unlike a Solemn Warning would or a Solemn Strike would.
Right.
So that's the only thing. I think it's still good. It's one of those things where you have to really think about what it is you're going to need at the moment.
Yeah. The next two, we got Screams of the Branded and Judgment of the Branded. These are, I think, they're more of one of cards.
Yeah.
I used to run like one copy of Screams of the Branded, like post Albaz Strike and all this stuff. I didn't even use it either. I think I eventually just dropped it.
It's the same.
So like they're nice little one-ofs, little sauce cards that you can have. Next up is also Necrofusion. I've got Banish Fusions from graveyard face down, but it can not attack this turn. I'm probably not running this either.
Yeah, I have this in the side deck. Necrofusion, for me, the only deck I really run Necrofusion is Predaplants.
Predaplant?
Yeah, that's the only deck that can really abuse Necrofusion because you can just do stupid stuff like get your pop from why I can never remember this thing's name, but the level 7, you fusion some of that with any of your Predaplant monsters, and you go into Predaplant Drago Stepelia, and then you have a quick effect that lets you negate an activated effect because you can put a Predaplant counter on it. So
after that, we also have Back to the Front.
That's a good card for really any deck.
Yeah, it's just like
that's a good free agent trap card. Even
little funny.
Yeah, I don't run it, but there's never a problem to running Back to the Front.
If you're starting out, then I guess.
Oh yeah, then we got two. We actually have three big boys back.
Ice Dragon's Prison did get switched out for There Can Only Be One. They switched out Ice Dragon's Prison for There Can Only Be One. So each player can only control one monster of each type. If a player controls two or more monsters of the same type, they must send some to the graveyard so they control no more than one monster of that type. So just another one of those floodgate cards. I've had this card pulled on me during a Edelich matchup on top of a skill drain, and I was just like,
pain is all I know.
Yeah, nah, I'm a scoop, bro.
It says on my list, Ice Dragon's Prison is still in this set.
Yeah, so it hasn't been updated yet, but with the packs that got sent out to like all the the Yugi tubers and whatnot, it's been switched out for there can only be one.
No,
But
dog.
Ice Dragon's Prison also another really nice card, especially with DPE out and about. It's a
Yeah.
card that a lot of trap heavy decks are running. Let's say it can kind of mess you up at times, but it's if you're preparing for DPE and you're running a back row heavy deck, this is probably a trap you want to see.
Hey, wait. So this is before it got switched out while I was still running Ice Dragon's Prison. I never got mad if I ever drew into it because
Yeah.
honestly, being able to just take one of your opponent's monsters and then banishing that and another monster that they have that could be problematic or set up a play.
Mhm.
It's pretty good. And it doesn't target. It doesn't target.
I think we also got Dimensional Barrier on this list.
Yes, dimensional barrier is still very much a thing.
Yeah, no, you want one of those, man.
It's it hurts a lot,
um,
especially in like. See, dimensional barrier is funny in the mirror matchup because if the person that goes first, they set dimensional barrier, his opponent just kind of sits there.
you're both gonna be sitting there, man. But yeah, if we're gonna be seeing a fusion heavy meta,
Mm-hmm.
possibly from this branded setup, obviously you have like the DPs out as well. This is a nice little card that's being side decked a lot, or sided in. I definitely may or may not have it sided on my Flunder deck, just a little extra like screw off.
Yeah.
Just a little extra nope. But yeah, it's a nice little card to have three of. It
Mm-hmm.
gives again, if you're coming back or you're a new player, it gives you a little more of a fighting chance against what we got set up, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And then
Um,
last is waking the dragon.
this is a funny card.
It's pretty funny.
I never knew about it till now, actually.
You know it's funny. Waking the dragon is in one of the it's a part of the a few of those burn decks that you'll see running around in Master Duel, and it goes into Ultimate Falcon because you can just go immediately into Ultimate Falcon, and then all of your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack, and it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects.
It's just little funny extra sauce, I guess.
And if you run this with Shadal waking the dragon, you can go right into a windy on your opponent's turn.
So extra deck cards. So obviously we got the big, beautiful boy himself,
Mirror Ice Jade.
Mirror Jade, the Ice
Garbage.
Blade Dragon.
This whew,
Whew,
this card is
this
beefy.
pretty card, man. You need one Fallen of Albaz plus one Fusion Synchro XYZ or Link monster. So already, you could be looking at a super poly target.
80% of the meta just gets hit by this card.
hmm you can only control one Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon, once per turn. Quick effect: you could send one fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz as a material from your extra deck to the graveyard. Sending those cards usually lets you search either a Dogmatica card, a Tri Brigade card, or a Fallen of Albaz just straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But you send it, you banish one monster on the field. It's not a targeted effect, but this effect cannot be used again next turn. If this face-up fusion summon card you control leaves the field by your opponent, you can activate this effect, destroy all monsters they control during the end phase of this turn.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
it's
say destroyed, by the way, or it just says as long as it leaves the field.
yeah. So then, uh, but I mean, they do have to get rid of it, but
That they do.
the last effect you can activate this effect, destroy all monsters they control during the end phase. So it's not like so I mean they can pop, go for gain, but they're gonna get whatever inboard they have is gonna get hit after that unless they got like something that can't be destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
or they could just dodge. They could use DP and dodge it.
Yeah, DP will always come back. Well, it wouldn't matter for
I mean,
DP
yeah, it wouldn't.
because
It would just come back anyways.
it just come back.
But,
It's still
but
like, oh man, you got rid of my monster. Time you get punished for it.
yeah, it's a nice, fun little card.
This thing is very strong.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card to have. You're probably running it on one of.
Hmm
You can probably run it as a two if you want.
I'm running it at two,
Any, I don't think it.
but like two is at most that I'm gonna run it at.
Yeah.
We got Titanclad, the Ash Dragon. Fantastic. Does it?
Fantastic card. That's probably one of my biggest. It's probably one of my biggest targets. I run it at two.
Yeah, same. It's just a monster that can have 3,700 attack on turn one, and
Hmm.
if it gets sent to the graveyard, you can add a Dogmatica or Fallen Albaz.
Yeah. So I mean, you're not really summoning it that much, but you're certainly sending it to the grave.
Yep.
I'd search some of your tech cards.
Search it for Dogmatica Ecclesia. If you're running Dogmatica Punishment, sending it to
Yeah.
that just
Um,
very strong. Brigand.
Rebellion. Oh, you do Brigand.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
Brigand. I have this at one for my deck. I don't really summon it that often.
I don't think you're really searching to summon this. I'm thinking this is more just some more Tri Brigade.
Yeah, because this lets you add
Uh,
Mercurier to your hand.
this is definitely what I'm running in Tri Brigade.
Hmm
Uh, as well because it's giving me an additional follow-up Tri Brigade card uh, that I could just go crazy with, or a Tri Brigade monster, so to say. Or you can also go for the Fallen of Albaz Super Poly effect.
Yep.
But most of the time, I'm grabbing a Tri Brigade monster so I could do some additional follow-up on top of that, on top of like the other monster I get. Typically, once I set Revolt, I'm getting another monster off Nerval effect during your turn. So that's two Tri Brigade monsters you have right there. That's two monsters that could go into whatever the fuck access code. Puts more things in your hand. Also, if you need like discard juice or forbidden droplet juice as well, it's nice.
Yeah. So that's another great thing about the Albaz deck itself, and especially this deck. No matter what, you're always gonna get some sort of hand advantage at the end of the turn with your fusion
Yeah.
monsters.
Oh yeah.
So it like even if you got Nibirude, it will bring you back into the game at some point with something. So that's how I feel about the Tenny deck. Pre Tenny Soul Sword is like no matter what, if you were just playing raw Tenny, you were never out of the game. Because you can always special summon a worm monster because you have no effect monsters, and then just keep chaining your effects to do literally
Yeah.
whatever you wanted.
Um. What else we got?
You were on Lubellion. We talked about
Yeah,
Lubellion
Rebellion.
earlier.
It's a nice card to do just a one of a one of.
Mm-hmm.
It puts stuff back into your deck, which can be nice.
Nice resource
Uh,
management. Spring the Iron Dash Dragon. This is Spring is what I my main target for. I Mirror Jade the Ice Blade Dragon because at the end of the turn, I banish something. Spring gets sent. Spring sends if there's something that I actually have trouble dealing with. I can summon out in Albaz, fusion
mhm.
summon it into something else, or I can go into Spriggan's Cat and go for literally any. Did we not talk about Spriggan's Cat? I don't think we did.
I think we just brought it up for a little bit.
Yeah, cause let me scroll back up to Spriggan's Cat because this card is stupid. By the way, if you have a fusion summon that mentions Fallen Albaz as material on your field or in your graveyard, you can special summon it from your hand. Free link material.
Hmm.
If this card is normal summon or special summon, you can add to your hand one branded spell or trap card that is banished or in your deck or graveyard. And then the only thing you would have to do is place one card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. So if you draw Spriggan's Cat or special summon it, you could turn a card that would have been a brick into not a brick because it gives you any searchable a branded spell or trap
Right.
card that you want.
I'm also running this card at 1, mainly because we might see an emergence of cards like Contact C.
Oh yeah, yeah. I also pretty much
So
run this at 1.
I don't want to lose just because of a Contact C.
That's why I link
So
summon it into Alistair the Invoker of Badness. They're two different types.
I'm throwing this in if that's one of the cards that's gonna take off with this meta once the structure deck comes out.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna just help me play around it.
See,
Uh,
the only
with
thing that holds Contact C back is Contact C is so easy just to go on a Verde off of it. Give your
Yeah, you could
opponent a
also
Verde.
go in a Verde, but
So
if Verde gets banned, I
if
mean,
Verde gets banned, Contact C 100% comes out every time.
oh yeah,
Every
it,
time.
and it's searchable off of Retaliating C,
Which
which
also punishes a lot of decks that special
is
summon using
including this
fusion.
one because during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell card that includes an effect that special summons a monster, i.e., Branded Fusion, you just special summon this card from your hand. If summoned this way, while this card is face up on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead.
Yep.
So it's a nice little dimension shifter effect.
And if it gets popped, you can search your Contact C.
Yeah. Then you just search your Contact C, throw that on the field. Um, I'm doing like a 2-to-1 ratio, like
Mm-hmm.
2 retaliatings and then 1 contact. Mainly because of where I ordered from, they ran out of retaliating C's.
Yeah,
Apparently, they gave me my refund, but
I have two contacts, one retaliating. I still need to get my other one.
but I think running like a 2-to-1 to kind of
Mitigate a lot of
like
what they.
counter
Yeah.
is a nice little like piece of spice that I want to test out. Hopefully, I have a good amount of Despia players playing at my local, so I want to test that out, see if
Mm-hmm.
I can pull anything off of that.
And it's not good. It's not just good for against Despia, because one thing that one of the newer meta decks, blessed be, that's coming up in the world is the DD deck. That
Yeah.
deck gets shafted by Contact C because they
Yeah,
can only special summon fiend monsters, and
yeah.
you cannot go into DD Gilgamesh because it requires 2 DD monsters. And if there's a Contact C on your side of the field, you kind of just sit there.
Power of the seas, man.
Mm-hmm. Except
Power of
Maxi, we don't talk about that one. But yeah, we springed the Iron Dash Dragon. Sent I can special
That's
summon
most
Kid
awesome.
out and just go crazy.
And then we got Albion the Brain of Dragon. Honestly, I had two of these hollow. I forgot what the rarity it is right now. I think it's like a super rare or ultra rare.
It's ultra rare.
It's ultra rare. Yeah, I sold one of them off just for like an easy just for some easy store credit because these things are selling like crazy, but you still get it in the structure deck. So I was just like, okay, we'll have one
Top
ultra
end is
rare,
still
and
at
then
30, by the way.
I'm looking at running this at 2. Really, it's a nice card. If it's fusion summon, I can fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower from my extra deck. Except Albion the Brain Dragon by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand, field, or graveyard. Very nice. You're summoning this off of your branded fusion, and then you're using this to go into your Dragoon or your Mirror Jade. If this card is sent to the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add to your hand or set 1 branded spell or trap directly from your deck. So that could be a branded in red. That could be another branded fusion.
Branded opening.
Yeah, it could be a branded opening as well. You have a lot of options here. I love this card for this deck.
It, it's really good.
It is
It's
an amazing card.
extremely strong. Just it's just one of those cards that um I'm just like, if I summon this and I don't have what I need, like let's say for some god awful reason I didn't normal summon Alistair, but I still have Invocation in my hand, I can banish the Alistair and then use the Invocation to fusion summon using 2 cards in my hand, and then still recov the Alistair that I had that I
Hmm.
banished from Albion back to my hand and recover the invocation. So
Right.
it's fusion decks, man.
This is
Got a lot of love.
Fallen of Albaz is it's such an important deck to have, because
Hmm.
like this part of the season, we're also getting an agent structure deck coming out here soon as well.
I hope.
Uh,
I hope that
hope it
it
unless it gets
comes
delayed
out
again.
because the agent deck when we get there, that is a funny. It is a very funny deck.
It's a very fun deck to play. But this is certainly a structure deck season,
Hmm.
uh, prepping us up until we get to those later months where we're going to be those big sets. Kind of like how we got Burst of Destiny.
Big. Well,
Which
we got a few of them because we got.
yeah,
Well,
we got a
not
few of them
even.
coming up,
We have
but
two big main sets. Because we have Power of Elements, and we have Dimension Force, which comes out next month at the end of the next
we got
month.
Dimension Force, and then
Which
when is Power
Dimension
of Elements
Power
starting?
Elements comes out in August.
Yeah, so
Dimension Force, by the way, is gonna reshake up the game
yeah,
again.
so this structure deck is like big. It's hopefully is gonna what bring in like new players. Hopefully, it's gonna be what they go towards
Bringing a lot of it,
picking up.
especially like GX players that love their fusion summoning.
Mhm.
Even if it's not an elemental hero deck, there's a lot of fusion summoning that you get from this deck.
Oh, fucking GX player.
You don't know, man. They might have stopped playing during the GX era. They weren't into synchro summoning and came back because they needed a card game that wasn't Magic. So let's help them out.
Yeah, maybe. What do you mean, people are?
Mm-mm. Well, speaking of like power of elements and stuff, we do have a lot of the new leaks. So we're just gonna quickly go into just the new stuff that's gotten announced. If you haven't seen it, we there's stuff for Ghost of the Past. There's stuff for the Ten of Ancient Battles, not specifically what it's called this year, but Ten of Battles for 2022. Then there is the new stuff from Dimension Force as well, because we got one new addition to Dimension Force.
Right.
So let's see. I think we should go towards the Ghost of the Past 2022
Okay.
since it's that's the next expansion that's right here. Uh,
Right.
so I'm just gonna quickly read this off. Ghost of the Past, the second haunting, released May 6, 2022. The second Ghost from the Past set is releasing that's not true. It's releasing in May, not April. But whatever. Uh, Ghost, it's got more of everything that made Ghost from the Past a smash hit, including more Ghost Rares. It's not just the roster of Ghost Rares that is expanded either. The drop rate has too. So it's twice as easy to pull a Ghost Rare this time around. On top of that, each box of the Ghost from the Past set has 4 packs instead of 3, giving you even more cards per box. The set size is also expanded to pack in even more cool cards. From the
Mhm.
anime inspired cards like Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon and Decode Talker Heat Soul, to the second chance to grab tournament mainstays like Christian Hauki Fibrax, $60 by the way, and number 97 Draglubion. You're sure to find something that can power up your current deck or inspire your next deck. You can also add some extra punch to your Flunderies with Ryza the Mega Monarch, which has been getting a lot of use in the Flunderies deck this weekend. If you've been watching YCS,
Yeah.
Ryza has been chef's kiss in those decks. Um, Pair up with your structure Albaz Strike with Alubra the Jester of Despia, and even show the world your DD deck means business with Go DDD Divine Zero King Rage. Fans of Yu-Gi-Oh! Will even get another chance to grab some fun old-fashioned fusion monster cards like Sandwich and Rare Fish. 2022's Visions of Ghost from the Past is another all-foil set, and each 5 card pack comes with 5 ultra rares, one of which could be replaced with a ghost rare. Each box of the upcoming Ghost from the Past with 4 packs for a total of 20 cards per box. So there's a lot of juice in here.
Yeah. I mean, Halky Fibrax, that's a big one.
I'm hoping to get Halky Fibrax because Halky Fibrax just does so many things for really all of my decks.
Yeah. So I mean,
This this
Sword
is
Soul.
the Yep, Sword Soul,
Sword Soul is still
Pump,
gonna hang
yeah,
strong. I mean,
Punk
it's Halky
with
Fibrax.
Halky Fibrax is also fucking juiced as fuck.
Yeah. There's I know like Sky Strikers
Mm-hmm.
use Halky Fibrax to go into eventually access code talker for some big damage, uh, which is something I do in Sky Striker a lot. We also have this is my favorite card, Borland Dragon.
Oh, yep, which is a new card by the way.
New card, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Neither player can target this card with monster effects, so it can't be targeted. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Quick effect: you can target one effect monster on the field and one rocket monster in your graveyard. Negate the effects of that monster on the field. If you do special summon that monster from your graveyard, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. You can only use this effect to borrow in draft once per turn. This is big.
It's almost cheating.
Dragon Link players are like nutting a little bit. Just looking at this. Obviously it's a Link 5. So it's I mean you're gonna be spending a lot of resources to go into this, but when we're talking resources in Dragon Link seems to like just have all of it.
Mm-hmm. You can also do some cheese with the Mecha Phantom Beast that summons 3 tokens. You can do that. Turn one of the tokens into a Link Spider, and then all you need is one more effect monster, and then you can
Yeah.
go into Borderland Dragon.
Yeah. So I mean there's a ton of options. This is, oh man. That, ah man, I'm getting hot just talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So we got a reprint for Blue Eyes White Dragon. There's actually three new cards so far. Which is Borderland Dragon, Deco Target, Heat Soul. 2 Cyberverse monsters with different attributes gains 500 attack for each monster it points to. Quick effect: you can pay 1,000 life points, draw a card, and if your life points are 2,000 or less, you can banish this card from the field. And if you do, special summon one Link 3 or lower Cyberverse monster from your extra deck, except Cyberverse Decode Talker. So this is I'm pretty sure this is one of the anime cards
yeah.
that's in Master Duel, but now it'll be officially in the TCG.
Hey, Mr. Players, I'm sure you're very happy from this.
Yeah, no, it gives you a free draw, and
Yeah.
since it has 2,300 attack, you can negate a card on the field. Actually, no. With UNAI, when you summon this card, it gives you a token, so you can just go into a 4 immediately.
Yep.
Hilarious. And the last new one so far is the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. If this face-up card is destroyed in a monster zone, you can place it in the spell attract card zone as a continuous spell instead of sending it to the graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon once per turn. When an attack is declared involving a Crystal Beast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish this continuous spell, special summon one level 4 lower Crystal Beast monster from your deck, but its effect is negated, if any, and if you do, add one ultimate crystal. Now,
Mm.
this is new, and they've already announced a Crystal Beast structure deck that's coming out later this year. Like this, like I would assume November, December ish is when this thing's coming out. But yeah, this is the reason why there's a lot of Crystal Beast support coming out.
Oh man, we love Crystal Beast. I'm sure all.
I'm sure all you Jesse fanboys are, oh my god, nah.
uh,
Uh,
yeah, nice. Then we got like the big Nice, big, juicy reprints. It's just really just what you want to see. I already
Mm-hmm.
said Hauki Fibrax earlier,
Yeah,
which is
D
really fun.
Divine, uh, Divine Zero King Rage. The price of it has gone down, but as I was building my DD deck the first time, this card was $40.
Whew.
It was $40, and for its effect, it's pretty good. So
Yeah,
as a
it's a zero
pendulum, you don't
scale.
take any effect damage. If you normal summon a level 5 or higher, you can do it without tributing. And as a monster effect, well, you're really only using it for the pendulum effect, but the monster
Yeah,
effect, when this card declares an attack, if your opponent has 4K or less life points, this card gains the attack that your opponent's life points is. So if they have 4K, it just gains 4K attack. Can be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage evolving this card,
you're right.
and you contribute one other monster, and apply one of these effects until the end of this turn. This card can attack directly. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in the spell or trap card zones. Your opponent cannot activate cards in their hand or graveyard.
Yeah.
So
So big,
it's beef. It's beef.
big card. And then we have the boy, Alibert, the Gesture of Despia. This is what you want to see. Over the weekend, I believe it was last weekend, we saw prices absolutely just fucking skyrocket to like 150. I believe like 154 was like the most I saw him selling for. Honestly, it had me really tempted as somebody who joined like the buy Aluber at $30 gang. It had me really tempted
It says they're
to
selling out high for 250. By the way,
shit. No, no.
no, no,
Ain't
no.
no buying it.
Save you.
Yeah, this is a good reprint. Despia Brandon's gonna be great deck.
Mm.
It's gonna be a great deck to play. Uh, this reprint's gonna is needed. I think we're gonna see like other Despia cards. Their prices are skyrocketing too, up to like 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in this set we'll see
Even
see a
oh, one
reprint.
one thing we didn't mention about the Albaz deck is if you're running Despia Albaz, especially Despia Terra Jima, I think is what it's called. When you use it as material, even if it's banished or sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it back. And then when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, it negates its effect, which is just extra pressure. Which is why another reason why Despia Albez with the new structure deck is
It's
juicy.
just so strong. It's very strong, very good deck to use.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully we see some more of those reprints as well. Like I know Dramaturge is like selling like 10 to 15.
Oh, it's a good thing I
Uh,
already have one.
yeah,
I might not have any jesters, but I got that
I
one.
grabbed three. I made sure to grab three, which is very nice. I'm sitting on those. Despy and Tragedy. I mean, that's a should have at this point. Coratus is sitting at like that 20 mark again. I think. Let's go to the TCG quick. Uh, uh, yeah, it's sitting at 20. Proskinian is still relatively cheap. I will say you're not really going into that card as much. Comedy is pretty cheap. You're not using that one that much as well. I've seen ad libdums sell for around $3 or $4. Uh, it's a nice little one of. I will say I took that out for some more extra cards and just using my dramaturge as a one of instead because it has a nice little negate effect that you'd love to see. But hopefully we see some more of those reprints. This is a really fun deck to have. It's a really
Oh,
cool
we forgot to mention Starving Venom Dragon because
starving good.
that card alone can turn any game around. Honestly,
Yeah. um,
which one is
but
this one? Yeah, the main, definitely one of the main things you want to have is a Masquerade, uh, the
oh,
Blazing Dragon
it's reprinted as well.
in most of your Albez dragons as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I like how one of the recommended cards for Despia is Predator and Drago Stapilia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I love this card, man. It's
Oh man,
it's
I wish
so
I would have
funny.
bought into it early.
Hey, wait, did the price for it get juiced up?
Is
Bro, the on top end, this thing is selling for 50.
yeah.
Sheesh.
It used to be 15. Uh, yeah, it used to be 15, I think. I was like, okay, I'll just get it at some point, and then nah, she's up there.
Mm-mm-mm. But again, I know we're on the league section, but what makes the Albaz deck and a lot of these decks so good is just because they're extremely malleable.
Yeah,
And because they're malleable, you're not locked into one specific playstyle. So that goes into a factor, especially in games of in best of threes, because you just don't know what they're gonna play. Like yeah, they play Deathfield. There isn't one just set way to play it.
yeah. Uh, let's see.
We did get some. We got a new reveal for Dimension Force. Hold on. Let me ask this: Are we done for Ghosts for right now?
Yeah, I would probably say those are really the big ones.
Yeah.
You see up on the graphic. I mean, rare fish, like the two fusions, rare fish and sandwich. Uh,
Those are more for like collecting.
I
Not
mean,
really.
collecting, yeah, but you can also use rare fish as a nines instant fusion target for some of those synchro decks
Mm-hmm.
that you want. So it's definitely a useful card. That's very rare that you can't really get your hands on
Mm-hmm.
right now. So they're nice little reprints. But yeah, leaks.
Yeah. So we got for Dimension Force. I'm pretty sure we've seen this card before. This is if I'm not mistaken, because we have Vsauce Starfrost. I think
Oh,
this is part of the. Damn, what is that thing? What is that damn thing called? I think it's part of the Scareclaw deck.
yeah.
Because with Scareclaw, you can search this out. But this is the level 6 tuner. Uh,
Yeah, that's a big one. And then also, just this morning, I saw Scareclaw's getting like a Link 1
yeah, a link one for.
monster that searches.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be something to watch out for. I haven't tested the deck at all, really.
Neither have I, but scare. It's just another thing to look at. But Vass's the Starfrost, it's still a even if you're not playing Scareclaws, it's still a free agent monster because you can special summon it by just destroying a monster you control with a different type and attribute from this card, and it's a light warrior, and that just gives you a free level 6 on the board, level 6 tuner on the board,
Yeah,
making stuff like Baron easier to go into because you're always gonna have a 4. Well, you're not always gonna have a 4, but it's possible with a 4 on the field, which is super easy to bring out.
yeah,
So it's an interesting card. Like even if you're just using it as a tuner and not for any of its other effects, it's something to look into.
yeah.
So that's it for Dimension Force. Is just
Really.
Vast Frost things to look out for. There's also a new Sky Striker card,
Yeah.
Aileron.
So really, my first impression of this, I I play like going second Sky Striker. I'm not really using this card. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very like safe. This is a very from what I've seen. Uh, one channel referred to this as like a really safe card. I forgot who, but I would agree. It's the effect really isn't big enough for me to want to put this in.
Mm-hmm. Well, this will be probably in next week's discussion with the new archetypes that are coming out. But
Yeah,
Sky Striker Misty Rune, like very stupid, very stupid.
yeah.
So that's just something to keep your eye out. Alaron, if you don't know, during the main phase, quick effect, you can target one Sky Striker Ace monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or field to that target. A Sky Striker equipped with this card gains 400 attack. This card on the field is destroyed, you can send one Sky Striker spell from your deck to the graveyard.
Yes,
So
sir.
nothing big, but still something to look at. And now we have Power of Elements, and there's a lot because we. I think this was on Thursday. A new archetype for Power Elements just got announced.
Yes, Blight.
Yeah,
Thunder.
yeah. So first we got Power Elements Math Mech Circular, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card once per turn. You can send one Math Mech monster from your deck to the graveyard, except Math Mech Circular. Special summon this card from your hand. Also, you can only attack with one monster for the rest of this turn. If another Math Mech monster is normal summoned or special summoned to your field while you control this monster, add one Math Mech Spell Trap card from your deck to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's a deck roaming around there that is OTKing people with Exodia.
Oh no.
using Math Mech Circular. This is the one that I sent you the other day. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's honestly pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
So hey, more Math Mech support. I'm not mad.
Math Mechs, man.
But now we got the Splite stuff.
The Splites. So right off the bat, what I noticed is level 2s, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I think level 2, there's a level 2 XYZ card. I believe it just you throw it out. You throw it out and it can just attack directly. I forgot its name. But that's a great, like, I think this is probably would be a great archetype to throw Zeus in, because you throw out the XE card, it goes for the direct attack, then you just go into clear.
Yeah. So because there's a lot of these Splite cards, right? So man, I'm gonna try and quickly run through these as fast as I can, because we're coming up on 2 hours now, right? So let's talk about the Splite main monsters. Right now, you got Splite Blue. You can only special summon this card with. You can only special summon with the first effect of this card once per turn, and you can only use the second effect once per turn. If you control a level or rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summon, add one Splite monster from your deck to your hand, except Splite Blue. You got Splite Carrot. Same as the first one, the starting text. If you control a level or link 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a spell, a trap card, or effect, quick effect, you can tribute one other level, rank, or link monster, negate the activation, and if you tributed a rank or link 2 monster, you can destroy that card. So that Carrot is your on-field negate. I said main monsters first. Then you got Splite Jet, which is dark. Same condition as the other two for first and second effect. You can only if you control a level or rank. So this one specific. So Splite Jet is level or rank, versus Splite Blue and Splite Carrot is level or link. So you can special summon this card from your hand. If you special summon, you can add one Splite Spell or Trap card from your deck to your hand. Then there's Splite Pixies, a dark thunder. Same as the other two. You can only use the first and second effect once. If you control a level or rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If another of your level, rank, or link 2 monsters battles an opponent's monster during the damage calculation, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Your battling monster gains attack equal to that opponent's current attack until the end of this turn. And then we got Splite Red, which is right after this. If you control a level or link 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can tribute one level, rank, or link 2 monster, negate the activation. If you tribute a rank or link 2 monster, you can destroy that monster. So you essentially have 2 negates with Splite Carrot and Splite Red.
Right.
Now we go into the extra deck for monsters. We have a Splite Elf. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Cannot be used as link material the turn that it is link summoned. So you can't just keep chaining and go into an Axis Code Talker off of this Splite, because if this line of text was not here, you can probably see that this can get very out of control
Yeah.
very fast. Your opponent cannot target monsters discard points to with card effects. During the main phase quick effect, you can target one level 2 in your graveyard, special summon it. If your opponent controls a monster at activation, you can target one rank 1 or link 2. Oh, you can target one rank or link 2 monster instead. And
Okay.
then the second extra deck card is Gigantic Splight. 2 level 2 monsters. For the XYZ summon, you can treat link 2 monsters you control as level 2. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once. If this card has a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link monster as material, its original attack is doubled. It has 1600 attack, so it would go up to 32. During your main phase, neither player can special summon for the rest of this turn except level, rank, and link 2 monsters. Also, detach one material from your XYZ monster, and if you do, special summon one level 2 monster from your deck.
Hmm.
And you have Splight Gamma Burst, which is to do all level, rank, link 2 monsters currently on the field gain. This is a quick play effect. Gain 1500 attack and defense until the end of this turn. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target one level, link, or rank monster that's 2. It gains 1400 attack until the end of this turn. Splight Smashers. Banish one Spriggans, Therons, or Splight card from your hand or graveyard. Activate one of these effects. Special summon Spriggans, special summon Therons. Banish one level, rank, or 2 monster you control and one card your opponent controls. In the last, by the way, Therons also got a bit more support. I don't have it saved here, but we'll get to that eventually. And then we got Splight Starter. You can now special summon monsters for the rest of this turn, except level, rank, or link 2 monsters. You can also special summon one Splight monster from your deck, and if you do, lose life points equal to its original attack. So that's all of the Splight stuff. You're really just abusing the number 2 in this deck.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things is that you can use link 2s as XYZ material.
Yeah, that's looking at the link to list like right here. The card I was talking about earlier is Sky Cavalry, Centauria. It can't be destroyed by battle while it has an XYZ material. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, I could detach one XYZ material from this card and just return it from the field to the hand as like a non-targeted bounce effect. And you could just go into Zeus off of that. Then you also have cards like little tech cards like it was a number card. You got some Elfie cards in there. Number 65 Gym Buster. During either player's turn, when an effect of an opponent's monster is activated, you can detach 2 materials, negate an activation. If you do 500, that's like a little Nibiru protection right there. Right there. So it definitely some cards that benefit from this. It's a very interesting archetype. I want to get in and play it eventually. Just haven't had the attention to.
Well, it's not officially right now, on the Sims yet.
Okay.
But there's it's funny is you can probably play Splight similar to how you play Monarchs, and just abuse the bunch of level 2s that you can just summon, and go into stuff like Gachi Gachi, and if you run like Paleo or run some frogs, you can abuse like Totally Awesome and stuff like that. So it's definitely an interesting deck. I'd have to see, because you're probably not gonna play Splight by itself. You're probably gonna combo Splight into something. The question would be, what exactly are you gonna combo it with, and that's just gonna take some time to have all that fleshed out. Because you could probably play Splight Melfi and all that jazz and stuff. Because The only condition for these cards activating is that you control a level, rank, or link to monsters, which there are a bunch of that do a bunch of stupid effects. So,
Yeah.
I think I might try Splight Monarch on my off time and see if I can do something stupid with that deck. But that's pretty much everything for me. Do you have anything about the leaks that you want to talk about or are interested at looking at?
Uh, no, not really at the moment.
Mm,
I mean, obviously, my mind's kind of just Albaz Strike focused right now. Uh,
obviously.
Trying to see like what we can come up with. Uh, Tri I'm loving the weird little Tri Brigade branded setup. It's just all the banishes off of Shureg and and Ice Jade or Mirror Jade. So I'm a little Albaz Strike like focused right now, kind of seeing just like
As we should be.
where that goes, like trying to predict like what this next ban list is looking like for the TCG. Is Prank Kids going to get hit? I really doubt Brave is going to get hit right now, uh, just because it just came out.
Uh,
But then again,
to
Konami
be to be
could
fair,
surprise us. We haven't.
I when Shadal Construct came out, I think it was the first ban list that came out. It got immediately limited to one.
Yeah, so I mean, we could be surprised.
Anything is possible. They brought
Anything's
back the
possible.
Strudo.
Yeah, one like the general consensus of the community right now is Brave is here to stay for a little while longer. We're probably going to see something done with Scythe, maybe Dagda.
Dagda could also get hit. Impressive. People are using their token collector tech to deal with the Brave package. So
Yeah,
it's not all the players, but it definitely, if you're running into a lot of Brave token, the token collector definitely helps a lot, and against Deeper too.
well, a little less than I'm seeing more of Token Collector for Sword Soul matchups
Mm-hmm.
as like a card you use to just kind of like respect the Sword Soul matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what you saying? Yeah, just seeing kind of how the meta shapes up, I guess, is the big focus. This ban list also, I don't think we're gonna see anything done about. I know the big thing people are talking about right now is Flunder's fucking stupid Dimension Shifter, and yeah, Dimension Shifter is a dumb card. It also only works for Flunder though, really.
Mm-hmm.
That takes advantage of that card, so um, I don't really see Konami doing anything about it. Maybe there's I guess not really ways you can play around D Shifter, but I mean, if you're running cross out Desi's,
Yeah,
uh,
that, and there are also decks that don't care about
yeah, uh,
Dimension Shifter.
yeah. So, uh, don't really see that happening. Uh, yeah, so it's kind of just waiting, is what
Post
to see what
YCS,
happens.
we shall see.
Yeah,
We'll get all
but
the
right now, Prank Kids Brave DP is kind of just running the joint right now.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll see something to hurt Prank Kids a little more. I know some people are like ban on Meow Meow Moo, and I'm just like, man, if that gets banned, then Prank Kids is just kind of. I know for like myself at least that I don't think it'd be worth playing the deck because Meow Meow Moo is like just like your universal starter, sending off that card to go into a Link One. And we're kind of seeing just like the general strength of a Link One, of Link Ones. Uh,
In
so
general,
that's
Link
what,
ones have always
yeah,
been stupid,
yeah. So
but
that's just like why you run them. But yeah. So maybe if anything, if we're talking to the prank kids, maybe we'll see some sort of banner limit on the pranks, like the spell cards themselves. Maybe.
mm-hmm.
I think that could maybe be interesting. I don't know how I'd feel about just decimating a whole archetype like that with Meow Meow.
To me, it wouldn't be the first time they've done it.
Yeah, yeah,
Think like Thunder Dragons.
yeah.
So if we'd have to see what the results are from YCS, which watching this weekend, I guess we could talk. We could finish this off by some
A little bit of
YCS
YCS talk.
Definitely what I've noticed a lot this weekend is 100% the rise of Prank Kid Brave. Not to say that it wasn't a thing before, but with the first in-person tournament coming back for realsies in the States, Prank Kids Brave is been like, from what I've seen, the most common deck that's there.
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely ways around it. Players are thinking like, okay, how do I work around this? For fusion decks, it's definitely like a super poly.
Yeah,
super poly go crazy fun time.
mm-hmm.
Knocking them out, putting I believe it's a weather washer on your side of the field. Goes in match is such a big card right now. I talked about that earlier. You see it so many. It's like a $3 to $4 card right now as well, I think. But goes in matches is definitely a big one. Seeing players like Shuping take advantage of it, and like his Drytron matchup against Brave Prank Kids. That's honestly, I haven't watched like everything else, but that's still honestly my favorite play from the whole YCS that I've seen. Just using the goes in match to dodge the forbidden droplet and get your effect off anyways.
Yeah, because it's not face up on the field.
Yep.
So it doesn't get negated.
There's definitely ways to out it. We could see, but it's definitely a very big card, or very very big deck that we're seeing right now. So maybe it gets hit, maybe it doesn't.
It just depends. I know for a fact one thing that's most likely not going to be hit is Edelich.
Wait, Edelich will ever get hit, bro?
Nah, cause it's by the way, it's here to stay. Like, we can't really do anything, but well, I shouldn't say we can't do anything. If you play
you can do things to get against Edelich.
Like I was gonna say, if you just play a Royal Decree, what are they gonna do? Obviously, they can activate something in response to it.
I'm thinking more of just Cyclones and
Cyclones and all that.
Twister.
But
you Cyclone the Edelich trap. There's not much they can do.
There's ways to get rid of all their back row, because they're very reliant on back row.
If you're playing like, there's ways around Edelich. You just have to respect back row matchups. What you're doing, and somebody said they were like, I'm only putting in 3 Twisters because at higher level events, I'm not really seeing like picturing a lot of trap decks, and I think that's coming back to like kind of bite, because we're seeing Edelich top pretty high.
Yep, it's right now. I think it might be top 8, but yeah, definitely stuff like Twin Twisters have won people games. I watched it in the Destiny Despia matchup versus Prank Kid Braves. 1000 hit the guy that was playing Destiny Despia, popped the Twin Twister, hit a field spell, and hit his adventure continuous spell card, and just fell over.
So like, what I'm really looking at too is like, I'm seeing if Predaplant really gets hit.
Verde, specifically Verde. Now.
Yeah, Verde. I don't know how I would feel about it getting hit, because I do take advantage of Predaplant.
Same. But also, I wouldn't be mad if we got hit. We just have to use our brains more. Yeah,
because it's like, okay, you stop this big crazy combo that's coming up. You use your hand traps well. Well, guess what? Link Spider +1 monster, and then go into a Predaplant and up on a Phoenix Enforcer. That kind of just bullies you around the entire time.
Phoenix Enforcer install until you win the game.
As a person that does that, I don't mind it, because
it is a viable strategy to.
It's a Phoenix Enforcer like
to stall until you win the game.
It's definitely like won me a match.
It's a 1v several.
But yeah, it's really just up into Konami's interpretation, I guess, to see this event.
See, I don't even think Phoenix Enforcer is that bad because there are ways to counter it, like the new
Dark Charmer.
Yeah, Dark Charmer. I was getting ready to say Dark Charmer Drock.
Oh man, because you just summon the Dark Charmer, you force the Phoenix Enforcer proc to just kind of like force it out, or you just use the Dark Charmer to just summon out the Phoenix Enforcer straight up.
Yep.
That's the best feeling.
Yep, and like, you don't even have to use Phoenix Enforcer to pop itself. You just use your other cards to pop stuff.
And it's a card you can run in a lot of decks. You can run it. I mean, it kind of overlays, but for a great going second card, Despia. I run it in my Dragon Link deck, of course, as a Link.
There's a bunch of decks that just have dark monsters.
There's a bunch of decks that run dark monsters. You can run it in everything. It's such a great DPE out.
Yeah.
And it's only selling for like less than $3 to $4. Such a good like general card.
And if you if they don't have a DPE, you can just drop into a Nightmare Unicorn or something.
Yep.
It's fantastic card.
Fantastic card.
Just great. I think that's pretty much it. Like I definitely need to go back and watch some replays for YCS, but
yeah.
Because there's just so much stuff to learn,
right?
For at least for myself, and just interesting to see. Probably how the most popular deck is just getting their foams ran at by literally everything else.
Yeah, right.
So, and that could be used as an argument for why some of the Brave stuff doesn't get banned. Because they'd be like, well, look at the evidence. Even at top events, just because Brave was strong doesn't mean it was the end all be all.
Right.
So those are also things that Konami may consider when updating the new ban list.
Exactly. So it's an interesting time in Yu-Gi-Oh for sure.
It is. It definitely is. Splashable engines, baby.
Splashable engines, baby.
But other than that, I don't have anything else.
Me neither.
I think next week we can definitely go into a lot of the new archetypes that are coming out in the next couple expansions. Like I definitely want to talk about Labyrinth because bro, Labyrinth is really funny. Man, Labyrinth is funny.
Yeah, the new waifu archetype.
Yeah, and then you have, like I said, Mr. Runes with Sky Striker.
Right.
Also, that's going to be very strong. And just Therons, because Therons got new support as well.
Right. So, plenty of new stuff, and then we'll probably catch up on the YCS stuff. And, I mean, Albaz would only just be out for that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't get my Albaz deck till, like, that Monday in the mail. But maybe talk about how to play Albaz Strike deck or how to stop Albaz Strike decks would probably be a good one as well. But yeah.
All right. So I don't got anything else. I guess we'll just get out of here and we'll see you guys for next episode of Side Decked Out. Name's work in progress.
I'm telling you, man, Rush Hour YGO.
Rush Hour YGO.
Rush Hour YGO. It works.
It works. Let's go. All right. With that being said, we're going to get out of here. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a great evening.
Yes. Goodbye.